Hey children, a very fantastic day to you. Today we are going to learn, read and understand the new chapter, living and non-living things. Now this is going to be the first chapter of science for you. Now before we proceed further, let us look at this warm-up session. Look at the things shown in the table. Fill in the table with yes or no. Now what are the things over here which are shown in the table? It is a car and a woman. Alright. Now the first question for this goes like this. Does it breathe? Now can you tell me if a car breathes? No. So what do we write over here? N-O, no. Next, does it move on its own? No. Can you see, have you ever seen a car driving on its own? No. Somebody has to drive it, right? So what is the answer going to be over here? No. Does it eat? No. Have you ever seen a car eating? No, right? So it's going to be a no again. Does it respond when it is touched? No, right? So the answer again is going to be no. Can it produce its own kind? Does the car give birth or something of that sort to a smaller car or something? Have you ever seen that happening? No. So the answer here I'm going to write to is a no. Did you get it? Now we move further. Now who is this over here? It's a woman. Does it breathe? Yes. We all breathe, isn't it? So the answer is going to be Y-E-S. Yes. Does it move on its own? Of course. A lady walks on her own. Doesn't your mom do that? So, yes. And what about eating? Does it eat? Yes. We all eat, isn't it? Does it respond when touched? You go, come on, quickly get up and go to your mom and see if she's responding when you touch her. Yes or no? Yes, your mom is responding. So it's a yes. Can it produce its own kind? Of course. Mom gives birth to us, isn't it? We are here because of our mom. So the answer again is going to be a yes. Now looking ahead, let's see what all we are going to learn today. That is going to be observe living and non-living things around us. Differentiate between living and non-living things. Know that living things need food and air. Understand how living things show movement, feel and respond to their surroundings. Learn that living things grow and reproduce. Stop, sir. The subtopic here is living and non-living things. Living things need food and water. They move. They grow, they feel and produce their own kind. What do living things need? They need food and water. Once again, living things need food and water. What will happen if we don't get food and water? We cannot survive. Can we survive without food and water? No, isn't it? So what is it again? Living things need food and water. They move. Can we all sit continuously in one place? No, isn't it? We need to move. What will happen if we don't move? We will feel very frustrated. Alright? So they move, they grow. How were you when you were a small baby and you went on gradually growing again and again? Isn't it? So they grow, they feel, they have feelings. When you touch them, they come to know that you have touched them and they produce their own kind. Human beings give birth to another human being. Alright? Now coming to the non-living things. So, non-living things don't need food and water. They do not move. They do not grow, feel or produce their own kind. Have you ever, just now earlier I had told you, a car doesn't give birth to a car. Isn't it? Now here, same thing. The brush will not produce another brush unless and until we humans do it. So let us see the examples that are here of two living things. What are the examples here? It is a tree and it's an elephant. Non-living things, what do we have on the non-living things here? We have the car and we have the brush. Among non-living things, some are made by humans while some are natural. Non-living things which are made by human beings or by humans are known as human-made things. Now let's see the examples for them. What are the examples? There are cars, there are toys, roads and buildings. The roads on which your cars move, the road on which you walk, your lovely toys that you have. Okay, the buildings where we work or where we live in, these are all non-living things. Okay, and they are made by whom? They are made by humans. So, they are also called human-made things. Now, let's see what we have under the checkpoint 1. Now, who is here? This is Hershey. Now, and this is Jacob. Meet Hershey. Hershey is a fun-loving dog. Meet Jacob. Jacob is a toy dog. Identify the things that Hershey the dog can do while Jacob the toy cannot do. Write them in your notebook. This is Hershey, isn't it? Now let's see what Hershey can do. Hershey the dog. What can Hershey do? Hershey the dog can run. Okay? Whereas Jacob is a toy dog. Can he run? So Jacob the dog cannot run. Did you get it? What is it saying? Hershey the dog can run, whereas Jacob the dog cannot run. Why Jacob the dog cannot run? Because he is a toy dog. And why can Hershey the dog run? Because he is a living dog. He is a living thing. Did you get it? Now, next let us see about Hershey. Now, Hershey can breathe, whereas Jacob cannot breathe. Okay? Hershey can breathe, Jacob cannot breathe. Now let's see what further Hershey and Jacob can do. Now, Hershey can bark, whereas Jacob, the dog, cannot bark. Why is this happening? Because Jacob is a toy dog. So, Hershey is a living dog. Now, because Hershey is a living dog, what are the things that he can do? He can run, he can breathe, and he can bark. Coming to Jacob, Jacob cannot run, Jacob cannot breathe, and Jacob cannot bark. Why is this happening? Why can Jacob not do all these things? Because he is a toy dog. Did you get it? Okay, very good. Let's move further. All living things have some characteristics that make them different from the non-living things. Let's learn about them. Now, before proceeding further, we will see what is the meaning of characteristics. What is the meaning of characteristics? Characteristics means qualities. Did you get it? Once again, let us repeat. Characteristics means qualities. Understood? Yeah, living things need food and water. Food gives living things energy to do various activities. It keeps them healthy and helps them grow. Now let's see about it, okay? Green plants can make their own food using sunlight, water and air. On the other hand, animals cannot make their own food. They eat plants or other animals. Non-living things do not need food. Did you get the point? So what is it again we are going to understand? How do the green plants make their food? Green plants make their own food. What do they use for making it? They use the sunlight, they use the water and air. On the other hand, animals cannot make their own food. They eat plants or other animals. Now coming to this point, and we all human beings come under animals too. Okay, we don't make our food using these things. We have to cook the food. Now, where does that food come to us from? Where does that food come to us from? It comes from the plants and animals. Did you get it? Now, when we come to the non-living things, they don't need any food. Did you get the point now? What is it? The green plants make their own food. What do they use? They use sunlight, they use water and they use air. On the other hand, animals cannot make their own food. They eat plants or other animals. Now, non-living things, they don't need any food at all. Why do they don't need food? Because they are not living. Did you understand that point? So what was the point that we learned about? We learned about this point. What was that point? Living things need food and water. I hope all of you have understood this. Now again we are going to the next point. Living things need air. Okay, now let us learn about the living things need air. Let's see and understand how do they need air. All living things need air to live. If there is no air, living things will die. We all need air. We need air to breathe. What will happen to us if we don't get air? We all will die. Living things have special organs for taking in and giving out air. Now let us see, what does the human being have? They have the nose. Humans breathe through their nose. Air, and how does this procedure happen? The air travels through their nose into the windpipe and then to the lungs. Can you see here? The air travels to the nose. Okay, then it goes to the windpipe and then it moves into the lungs. Did you understand this? Once again, let us understand this. The air enters through the nose and then goes into the lungs through the windpipe. Now coming to the land animals like cats, dogs, horses and zebras all have lungs for breathing. But insects like grasshoppers take in air through the tiny pores known as spiracles present in their body. Now can you see this? These are the spiracles. Grasshoppers have breathing pores called spiracles. Can you see the spiracles here? So how do they breathe? How do insects breathe? Okay, they breathe through spiracles. Did you see here? Very good. These are the spiracles here. Then we finish with the human beings, we finish with animals, we finish with the insects, and now we are going to go to the aquatic animals. What are we going to go through? The aquatic animals. Now aquatic animals like fish have gills. These gills help them to take in oxygen dissolved in water. See, can you see these gills over here? This part over here they have like this. These are called gills. What are these called? Gills. And the aquatic animals take in oxygen which is dissolved in water through these gills. Then now we finish with the human beings, we finish with animals, we finish with insects, then we finish with the aquatic animals. Now we are going to go to the plants. Now coming back to the plants, let us see how do they take in air. Plants take in and give out through tiny pores. Once again, let me tell you that plants take in and give out air through tiny pores called stomata. What is it called? Stomata. See, can you see this diagram over here? Can you see this tiny pores? Those pores are known as stomata, present on the underside of the leaves. Underside, it is the underneath. If you see the leaf, below the leaf, that is the underside of the leaves, you will find the stomata. Now, we finished. What did we learn? What did we learn so far? Living things need air. And how do they get air? Humans through nose. Okay? Animals, nose and lungs. Okay? Animals also through lungs. Alright, then coming to insects, they breathe through spiracles. Then coming to aquatic animals, they breathe through their gills. Finally, coming to the leaves, they take in air and give out air through stomata. Did you get it? And coming to the non-living things, when it is the non-living things, they don't need air. Did you get it? They don't need air. Understood? Now we will proceed further. Living things show movement. Plants and animals differ in type of movements they show. They are having a different movement. Plants also have different, animals also have different. Now let us see them. Plants are fixed to the soil with their roots and do not move from one place to another. However, some plants may move their parts. For example, the touch me not plant, that is known as mimosa. Can you see, this is the plant over here. Mimosa plant closes its leaves upon touching. No sooner you touch it, it closes its leaves. Okay? Now, let us understand the meaning of pores as we go on, proceed further. We had learnt it earlier. Pores mean very small holes present usually on the underside of the leaf or the skin of an organism. Aquatic means living or growing in or on water. Did you get that? Now, we proceed further. Animals, when we come to animals, they move on their own from one place to another in search of food, shelter, or to protect themselves from their enemies. Why do animals move from one place to another? Animals move, and what is the reason that they move? They move in search of food, shelter, or to protect themselves from whom? From their enemies. Some animals like cats and cows move with their legs. Birds and insects fly with the help of their wings. Fish move with the help of the fins and tail. Snakes and earthworms move with the help of their whole bodies. That is the scale and body movements respectively. Did you get it? Or understood? Okay. Now see the bird moving using its wings. Can you see the movement over here? This is how it moves. Then see the fish. Movement is in a fish using its fin and tail. See the movement over here. Can you see it? Okay. Now let us see what is a sloth. The three-toed sloth is the slowest moving animal in the world. Which is the slowest moving animal in the world? It is the three-toed sloth. Okay? Did you all get it? Now, these were the movements that we learned by the living things. But when coming to non-living things, they also don't move on their own. Somebody has to push them. Now, suppose it is a car, you'll have to sit in the car, start the key, or whether it is an automated car, something you will have to press, then only it will move. Even if it is a chair, if you want to, you can't just tell the chair, come on, go and be over there, be placed over there. No, you will have to pick the chair or lift it up rather and go and keep it in the position where you want it to be. Did you get it? So that was what we learned. It was that the living things need air, living things show movement. Now further we will go that living things feel and respond. What do you do when you feel hungry? What do? You go and have something, isn't it? How do you come to know that someone is knocking at the door? Because you can hear it. When you get hurt, do you feel pain? Try pinching yourselves. Don't you get pain? I do get pain. See, I am pinching myself over here. Ouch, it's paining badly. Then that is the reason. How did I come to know about it? Because I felt it. Did you get it? All living things feel. Living things can feel with the help of the sense organs. Now, which are the sense organs? About the sense organs you have been learning from grade 1. Now, which are the sense organs present in the human body? We will tell it once again. They are the eyes, ears, nose, skin and the tongue. Just like animals, plants also feel. We should not harm them. Just don't go on plucking things, wherever you see the plants around. Okay? Because they too are like us. They too are sensitive. Would you like someone to just come and pull the hair off your head? What would happen? It would be painful, isn't it? Same thing is with the plants. Don't hurt them. A dog uses its dash to sniff. What do you think should be the answer over here? Dog uses its nose. A cat cleans itself. If you observe a cat, if you haven't till date, go and observe it. You will find it cleaning itself using its tongue. Did you get it? Okay, very good. I hope you all have understood whatever I am explaining till now. Now let us move further. Non-living things do not feel anything. They don't feel, even if you go and bang a table, the table with a hammer, the table is not going to feel anything. Why? Because they have no sense of feeling. So they do not respond on their own. Think of other animals that use their sense organs to perform specific tasks. Now this is going to be what you have to think. Alright, now let us move further. Think and make a note of it and let us know in the course of the lesson about it. Or you could tell it the next day also to me. Now, next thing that we are going to learn is living things grow. हम बड़े हुए हैं कि नहीं? We are growing daily, isn't it? If you observe yourself, you will be finding yourself growing daily. You must have seen your photograph from when you were a small baby. You were much smaller and tiny than what you are today. Living things change their shape and size as they grow. So all living things take birth, they grow, become old and they die. Non-living things do not grow. Now look at the seed. A seed grows into a plant. Let us see how it is. This is the seed. The tiny seed keeps growing and growing, and slowly it is growing into a plant. Now this was about living things growing. Next we'll go to the living things reproducing. Living things have the ability to give birth to their own kind. And what is this process called? This process is called reproduction. What is this process called? Reproduction. The living things have the ability to give birth to their own kind. This is called reproduction. Some animals like birds and tortoises lay eggs. These eggs hatch. Now what is the meaning of hatch? It's here. Break in order to allow a young animal to come out. What is the meaning of hatch? Hatch means break in order to allow a young animal to come out. So some animals like birds and tortoises lay eggs. These eggs hatch and a baby comes out of each egg. Some animals give birth to young ones. For example, cats, horses, monkeys and human beings. Which of the animals give birth to young ones? They are the cats, horses, monkeys and humans. Plants produce seeds which grow into baby plant. That is what we had learned a little while ago. This is a seed, you plant it, then it grows further and further, and then it becomes a plant. But the baby plant needs suitable conditions to grow. The seed needs suitable conditions to become a new plant. Now what does it need? It will need air, warmth and water. Did you get it? Now coming to this over here, a car moves when we start the engine. Is a car a living thing or a non-living thing? I think we had discussed about it a little while ago. Car is definitely a non-living thing. Now, this I just explained to you about the plant growing from the seed. Now next, plants produce seeds which grow into a baby plant. What are the conditions that it requires? The baby plant requires conditions of good air, warmth and water to become a new plant. Okay, now let's see the checkpoint 2. Wow! Now that you have learned the differences between the living things and non-living things, complete the following table. Living things. What is here under living things? Living things need food to live and grow. What about non-living things? Non-living things. Now let us go to the checkpoint 2. Wow! Now that you have learned the differences between living things and non-living things, let us complete the following table. Living things. Living things need food to live and grow. Now what about the non-living things? Non-living things do not need food to live and grow. Now coming to the living things and non-living things, to the second point, they have written here that they do not breathe. What about the living things? They breathe. Did you get it? Then the third point, they cannot move from one place to another on their own. This is about the non-living things. What will the living things do? They can. They can move from one place to another on their own. Did you get it? Now the fourth point about the living things is they can feel. What about the non-living things? They cannot feel. Now, next point about the non-living things is they do not grow. What about the living things? They grow, isn't it? Just now you all have learnt about it. They grow. Now, living things, they reproduce. What about the non-living things? They do not reproduce. Did you understand this? Very good. Now let's see the summary of this lesson. What is all that we have learned today? In nature, there are two kinds of things, that is the living and the non-living. Living things need food and water. They also show movement, grow, feel and produce their own kind. Non-living things do not need food and water. They do not move, grow, feel or produce their own kind. All living things are natural, while non-living things can be natural or human-made. That's it for today. Have a lovely day.